Remember when all the inflation, debt, doomsday people were telling us that there was going to be hyperinflation because of all the Fed money printing, and you had to buy gold because it was going to $5,000 or $10,000 an ounce? And then there were all the media outlets like CNBC and Fox Business and many of those mainstream networks constantly putting on these so-called experts who were warning us about the same thing. And meanwhile, the networks like Fox were airing commercials from these shady gold investment companies like Goldline. Remember all that stuff? Well, none of that inflation stuff ever happened, just like MMT predicted. And as for myself, I put up a lot of videos over the past year explaining why it was not going to happen, not to mention many articles on my blog, Mike Norman Economics, and other MMT related articles elsewhere on the internet. And by the way, you never saw a single MMT guy on Fox or CNBC or anywhere, just the same old misinformed Cassandras who were never right about anything in the first place. And CNBC still puts them on, and they wonder why their ratings are the lowest in 20 years. CNBC, come on, wake up! Anyway, we, MMT, told you, and I told you, that at least when it comes to QE, the Fed's actions did not equate to money printing, that it was all just a big asset swap, and all that was happening was the Fed was exchanging reserves in the banking system for a dollar equivalent amount of treasuries. And the only thing that changed was the composition of the financial assets that the public held and the duration of those assets going from longer to shorter. Nobody got any more money, and there was no money printing. And actually, it's all pretty easy to understand. That is, if you take 2 seconds to think about it. But most people were just happy to go on believing in their ignorant and misinformed myths and misconceptions. And if you're one of those people, it's got to be frustrating as hell not seeing your doom and gloom scenarios play out, or worse, watching your lame heroes and gurus be wrong month after month after month and constantly repeating their laughable excuses like they can't predict when it's going to happen. They just know it's going to happen one day. And all I keep thinking is, it must suck being you. But I digress. Anyway, what I really want to talk about is my outlook on the economy and how government spending continues to support demand, even though I know we're operating under a sequester. And actually, there has been some signs in the past couple of months that we're seeing a slowdown in spending. But we're still going to finish off this fiscal year, which ends on September 30th, with about $4.1 trillion in total spending. And that's pretty much equal to last year. And if you recall, last year the S&P rose by about 250 points, and this year a bit more than 250 points so far, less percentage-wise, but it all makes sense. Next year, however, we could see spending drop below $4 trillion, and that would be the first time since 2008, so that could be something that would make a difference, and it might keep the S&P from rising that much. We seem to get into trouble every time we see monthly spending totals grow at an annualized rate of 3.2 trillion or less, but I don't think we're going down that far, so probably some more upside to the market, but at a slower rate of ascent. In any case, I'm going to be watching these spending numbers closely, and I'll try to give you a heads up if I see anything change. Anyway, that's it for now. This is Mike Norman saying bye-bye. See you next time.